Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we're going to learn about operator precedence. Let's go ahead and get started. So in the last lecture, we learned how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, but we only did a single operation inside of an expression. So that's the first thing I want to cover, and with that, the topic of operator precedence is going to come into play. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of these lines at the top. So we're going to focus on this calculation right here. And you can see that we are making a division. Like I said, we're not limited to a single operation in an expression. For example, after the division, I could say something like, let's add 10 to this. And then after that, we'll take 3.5 off. So now we have an expression with three operations: a division, an addition, and a subtraction. But like I said, with this, the question comes into mind: which of these operations will be done first? Which will be done second? Which will be done third? In C++, the real-life mathematical rules apply. So multiplication and division will be done first, and after that, addition and subtraction will be done. In this case, this division will be done first. That will be like 2.4. And then we will add 10 to this and then take 3.5 off. So 12.4 here. And then what is that? 8.9. Quick maths. So let's compile that and see if that's accurate. But like I said, the real life mathematical rules apply. Division and multiplication done first, and everything else, addition and subtraction later. So let's save this, go into Unreal, compile it. Let's play the game, and you can see that it is indeed 8.9. Cool, so let's go back into Visual Studio, and as I mentioned a second ago, this phenomenon is called operator precedence. The rules that govern which operation is going to be done first. These are done from left to right. So for example, if we had a multiplication here, in this case, this division would be done. That would be 2.4. After that, we would multiply this by 10, which would be 24. And after that, we would take 3.5 off this. That would be 21.5. I think, or 20.5 rather. So let's go ahead, compile this, see that it is indeed the case. And you can see that it is in fact 20.5. So the thing I want you to understand is that in an expression with multiple operations, multiplication and division will be done before addition and subtraction. And in the case that you have both, it's going to go from left to right. So the leftmost operation will be done, and then it's going to move to the right. So it will start here and then move to the right. But of course, if there's a multiplication or division on the right side and on the left side, there's only additions and subtractions, it's going to start there. So let me also demonstrate that real quick. So I'm just going to delete all of this. Let's say that we have 8 plus 2.5 minus 1 multiplied by 10. So in this case, even though the rule is that we start from the left, since we have a multiplication, of course, we're going to start here. So some rules kind of overwrite others when it is appropriate. So that is operator precedence in a nutshell. And the most important of the operators when it comes to precedence is going to be the parentheses. With parentheses, we can control what we want to be done first, regardless of multiplication, division, anything. So for example, let's actually say 3 here instead of 1. For example, in this calculation right here, this will be done first, right? 3 times 10, because that's a multiplication, it will be done before these. If I wanted to do this first, so for example, like I said, this is done first, but let's say I want this to be done first. I can put a set of parentheses in code, not in a drawing. So let me actually put them here. So I can put these parentheses here, And this is going to make sure that this calculation is done first, regardless of addition, subtraction, anything. There's parentheses over this. This will be done first. I'm manually, explicitly telling the compiler that do this first before anything. And after that, we can do the multiplication with 10. So in this case, this would be negative 0.5. We would multiply this by 10 after that because multiplication would be higher precedence than addition here. This would be negative 5. And then we would add 8 to this, and that would be 3. So let's compile, let's save first, compile and test to make sure that I'm not lying to you. And you can see that it is indeed 3. Okay, great. So that's basically all I wanted to cover. Now we understand what happens when we have multiple operations in a single expression. We know that division and multiplication will be done before addition and subtraction. And if we want to take things into our own hands, we can use parentheses to put anything to the first spot. So that's it for this lecture. Let's continue in the next one.